Hello, I'm EnterElysium and welcome back to From the Depths. Today, we're going to be doing a couple of things, but namely, we are going to be having a look at the Atlas retrofit that we captured from the Deepwater Guard, and we're going to be, well, retrofitting the retrofit. We're basically going to make it better. So we're going to have a look at a few things, and firstly, I don't have the HUD on. Why am I seeing these? I shouldn't see these. I'm going to be basically adding a little bit more armor, and I'm going to be adding a shield. Or, no, more precisely, a lot of shields. So, boop, build mode, and caps lock to hold it in place, and let's bring up our HUD. I don't think I'm actually on the base. There we go, I'm on the base now. So, we want to know a number of things. I mean, firstly, we want to know what the hell it's got on board. So, it's got some missiles here, which are like bombs. Yeah, I'm probably going to get rid of those, let's be completely honest. They don't really do very much. This is pretty cool, but you have to get pretty close to use it. Still, not a terrible idea. We probably don't need these resources, and in fact I've removed these in the campaign already, so let's just reduce it to... let's get rid of those, and we'll just have one large resource storage crate. Heartstone extension, I don't need these. What else have we got? The AI. What's this? A PID controller. Ooh, task selection, aerial yaw. Hello, we're not rolling to turns. Use PID to set the yaw angle to the weight from 0. Okay, so that basically helps with keeping us level. Explain why the Atlas has got a little bit better at that recently. I'm not going to alter really any of that. Missile warning system. These can see through blocks of... I thought they were blocked by looking through blocks of wood. This is shocking. Okay, so it can see missiles behind it, below it, just can't see above and in front. Let me do we have one at the front for that? We do. We can see missiles. Why did I worry all along? Missile launch pad. Right, you've got missiles out here. These look to be missile interceptors. Now, the problem is, because they're pointing out the side, they've got to turn around. I believe they probably have a one turn. Yeah, variable thruster, fin, sticky flare, fuel tank. Reasonable selection. As we saw, they don't really do very much, especially when someone launches missiles at you from the front. So we'll probably have to have a look at that. What are you? You're a torpedo. Honestly, I'm pretty much going to rip out most of your weapons. The only weapon you've got that's at all been effective, as far as I've seen, is the cram cannon. Explosives, blah, 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 blah. Again, more anti-missile missiles. I mean, they're good if you fire from the side at it, but I think it's a bit of a waste, in all honesty. You could make the cram cannons quite a lot better. The engine... Oh, it's bad. Okay. First port of call, I think, is to rip out all the things we don't need anymore. Or don't want, precisely. What are you set to for your velocity? Motor drive fraction. Okay, so we could increase the motor drive to get more velocity out of the craft. Something we want to consider, because right now it's moving a little bit slow. I mean, 40 meters per second isn't slow, but it's just not keeping up with our frigates. What about you? Motor drive is at 100. And what about you? Okay, so we can actually increase the motor drive. Let me just check that they're all set to similar... Yeah, they're all set similar. So we can actually get more up thrust if we wanted. So we can actually increase the weight of this puppy and it would still be fine. So first things first, I'm going to rip out all the systems I don't want. So straight up, set down a mirror line, and let's get to town. I don't want torpedoes. Or if I do, I don't want these torpedoes. Frankly, I'm just going to make this into a cram cannon platform because I think that's what it's good at. I think anything else would be a bit of a disservice. The bombs, doesn't need it either. What are you? Missile warning system. Okay, so you're the up missile warning system. These missiles out the side. Yeah, let's get rid of these as well. We're gonna... Yeah, let's replace the entire missile warning system. That way I'll know what we've got. What are you? That's the hostile missile closer than Yeah, that fires the weapon systems. We don't need that, because I'll be putting my own one in. We don't need this, because I'll be putting my own one in. What are you? Activate every 30 seconds, balloon deployer. Activate on spawning, balloon deployer. So it's always got balloons up, which is actually going to be the issue for it. It's always going to have balloons up, which make it a lot slower. Let's get rid of you. Activate on spawning, spin block, set rotation speed. Okay, let's get rid of you. And then that'll be another, yeah, hostile missile closer than so-and-so, do so-and-so. Okay, that gives us quite a lot of space actually internally, which we could use. I mean, we could actually just make the cram cannons sink into the deck. Or we could add, you know, more cram cannons below or something. It's something worth considering. But for now, I think what we'll do is we'll just go for something a little bit more simple. And I know I said, you know, last episode when I was talking about what I was going to do, I was like, oh, you know, we won't do anything too fancy or whatever. I mean, now I'm starting to do, you know, more fancy things. I should be wary. I should be wary. I don't want to make crazy large changes. So let's remove the engine as well, because that engine will just not do. In fact, I might actually try putting in a slightly better engine than the one we've been using previously. So I actually want to just rip this out entirely. Right, so the engine I want to build is actually a fair sight bigger. I want to build a 5x5x3. So I need to find room for this. Now, there is room here, but it's under the cram cannon. So I can move the cram cannon back, but a bit of issues. Or I could move the AI back. And I don't actually need that big an area, so I could just use this area here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I could use this area. So let's dig a chunk out of the deck. Right. So, what's in here? Is this the ammo hold? Yeah. We're not putting the actual, like, main part of the motor next to that. So the motor should go here. Or possibly if we try to get rid of the bulwark, it should go, like, directly behind this. And I think I might get rid of this wall. Which is a cardinal sin because they're no longer separated, but it should be fine. Famous last words. It should be fine. We should go, right, fuel. Generator. Bam. Okay. Then we want to go crankshaft. 3. Cylinder. Yep, thank you, cylinder. And then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we should be fine. We'll have to play it by ear. So, what you want on here is carburetors everywhere you can, because they are amazing. Why would you not want them everywhere you can? And then we need turbochargers. We need to be able to get as many turbochargers as possible because they increase the fuel efficiency. And we're going to go for a reasonably efficient design here. So, connected to carburetor, increasing high RPM efficiency. Okay, sweet. Ah, we need the mirror line off, which does make this take slightly longer. Because you need to put it like that, and then like that. Not connected. Connected. Right. Connected, connected, connected. Which leaves these ones not connected, which is why we have this. Not connected. Connected, right. Connected. 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 And this should mean that every one of these is connected to one turbo charger. Sweet. How much energy should we get from this? 1,191. Which is pretty good. What's in terms of the efficiency? Fuel usage per second. 100% is 118. Per unit of fuel. Okay. So basically getting a 10 for the amount of power we could possibly use using this, which isn't bad. There is ways to improve this and see if I can increase its efficiency, but I don't think I'm actually going to get much better than this. Now, this is my other choice, where you can see I've got rid of the carburetors on, like, the corners. Like there. So we're down to just 4 carburetors. But instead, you can see that I've got, like, a lot more turbochargers. In fact, there is now, like, 3 turbochargers for each carburetor, which, in theory, is 3 times the number of turbochargers, so it should be a linear expansion, so we should have a third of the fuel use. And if we check, bam, we're using a third of the fuel use, which is really good. A third of the fuel is 3 times the fuel efficiency. That's great. We've lost power, though. We have gone from almost 1200 down to 800. But we've lost a third of the power for 3 times the fuel. That's reasonable. I would say that is pretty good. So I'm actually going to stick with this. It's not as powerful, but we can expand this. And honestly, we've been working with a fairly high cap anyway for the energy. So we can expand this. We can go probably a little bit more. I would kind of want a bit more energy from this, but... oh well. Okay. That engine should do. Now... in an ideal world, I'd want to improve that slightly. And in fact, I'd, want to move the bridge down a bit. I'd want to redesign the entire bridge section, but that might be a bit too much for today's scope. So for now, I'll settle for that. We'll cover it over later. So now we need to do the anti-missile weapons and shields. Shields are pretty easy to tackle at the end, so let's do the anti-missile weapons. I would like several anti-missile weapons, and I probably want them firing from all angles, but particularly forwards, because that's where we had some issues. So... that's pretty good. If pitch angle is... yeah, that'll sort itself out. Right, so this used to be our anti-missile area. Now I could put anti-missile weapons at the front of the ship here, but this would make this a bit weak. And honestly, we actually take a fair number of shots from here. But at the same time, we take a lot on the sides as well, and it is wood, and I don't really expect very much to come from it. I could plate the front in a little bit of metal, just to make it a tiny bit tougher. We'll actually do that, and we'll see how it goes. We've got quite a lot of metal in the campaign. Right, and that should reinforce the bow a little bit. Now, proper anti-missile weapons. Let's have them firing out of here. Mainly because it would just look a little bit cooler. So it's 1, 2, and this would be 3. Are you going to snap off? No, you're not. Good. Right, so 1, 2, that should be fine. So let us use custom missile. Let's map it out with the 6-way connectors. So if you were going to be 1 there, launch pad connector. And then 1 there. So I guess that's like that. So it's launch pad here. Oh, no, I missed a bit here. In which case, do we want this one at the bottom? Probably not. Looks a bit naff anyway, doing that at the bottom there. Alright, that gives us 3. So we'll put the missile blocks 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And now, the fun part. Making sure they have ejectors. 1. To be fair, they only need 1 ejector, really. So we could probably do without doing that to the roof. And then Missile launch pad. Not missile launch pad, missile controller. There's a bit of a difference there. And then staggered fire. 1. We'll lay him on the ground. Prettiness sake. Friend foe. And that should be good. We'll load up interceptor, load interceptor, edit, assign same length, which is just fin, short range thruster, fuel tank, missile interceptor. So how are we doing now? We've got forward missile interceptors. We don't have lateral missile interceptors. So we should probably do them. And we could do them like here. I mean, honestly, lateral missile interceptors are probably better for the late game. But we'll do it anyway. We don't need anti-flares. We're just going to go purely on the basis of assuming that their missiles can hit us. So that'll be missile block, ejector. That's actually really easy to get in. So ejector. I don't think we need anti-missiles here. We've got some poking out the side already. Means we are going to be weak on the rear, but again, I've not really cared about that. And if we are going to be weak on the rear, I'd rather have them pointing directly backwards. In all honesty, what we could have here is actual missiles, like genuine, like honest-to-God missiles that fire like this, and we could then hook them up with some lure code to get them turning around and targeting. That might actually not be a bad idea. Just like some, relatively light missiles. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'd want bam. And then I want you to fire at anyone behind, anyone. Honestly, you could fire completely like 180. No limit. I would want a staggered fire. I'd want a ejector. Missile block. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll tell them to be effectively. We'll go with a thin. Short range thruster. Fuel tank. Lure warhead. Then we need to attach lure to the... Oh, we can get it done. And then we'll tell you to be frag, probably. Oh, frag. We'll hedge our bets. We'll go explosive frag. Why not? Frag is down here somewhere. No 1 turn, so they're going to be a little bit iffy about that. We could put like a 1 turn in or something. But the lure should, turn them pretty nicely. We could have start delay on the thruster, which I think is not a bad idea, because the lure will actually start to turn it using the fins without the thruster being active. Guidance is fine, ejection is fine, warhead arming delay. We'll decrease that a little bit, and then apply to all missiles. And then to get the lure in, simple enough task. Block, metal block, bam. And then custom missiles. Lure. Boop, boop. And then block. Wood block. And then, shockingly, we'll just need to put a lure in. And the lure should just be fine. It should just be like, yeah, like, whenever you're fired, do your thing. So we'll set up a missile system. AI. Local weapon controller. Mainframe. Left-right card slot. Doesn't really need that. So yeah, we'll just go with that. Minimum altitude. You shouldn't really target things below the waterline, so -10. That should be fine. Everything else, honestly, you're good. And let's put a lure block in. Control, lure block. Now, I'm actually not going to put the lure in right now because it's actually on my frigates, and I could go grab it, but then I'd have to spawn in a frigate to grab it. So you're fine. I mean, you're only firing like some small missiles. They aren't... There's nothing to really write home about, but they should be, you know, at least something. What else have we got? We've got our space here. We could put missiles in here as well. It might not be a bad idea, actually, to have some missiles in here. And then we tell it that the ejection is down. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not relative to... That's just relative to, like, global space. So, in theory, that should work. And then this should fire those down. And then they've got a 1 second delay before the thruster starts. And we need to set up the actual, like, AI which control if you see enemies. So where can I put the AI? I mean, I've got space here, right? So we'll put the AI here. Block, wood block, bam, bam. Then I'd want to go AI mainframe. And then... missile warner. And there we go. So we can now see in every direction if there are missiles coming through us. Right. I would like you to effect range and then activate hostile missile closer than 1300. The reason for that is if a missile comes from the front, they'll need time to turn around. I doubt that'll still be applicable, but worth a try. And then, weapon system, fire weapons, test. Sure, that works. I don't think we have a staggered fire here, so I'm going to add a quick staggered fire. Let's try that. Maybe stagger it a little bit more. Okay, reload, come on. Ah, it's one side then the other. Interesting. And this side hasn't got the missiles because I didn't propagate them. Right, they should now be propagated at the other side. Yep. Sweet. Ammo's still, you know, not as heavily armed as I'd like. In fact, that might be something worth looking into. Now, the thing about the ammo store is it technically has ammo processors just wrapped around it. Which I don't consider the best to farm. And the same with the fuel. You know what? I might just leave it and be like, well, this is obviously a terrible idea. No, I'll actually have a look at fixing that. So, to fix that, we'd want extra armor at the bottom. Then extra armor up the side. And that should protect us from the bulk of incoming fire. Now, looks like we are being weighed down a little bit. So we'll have to check how this works in practice. What I can do is be super cheeky and be like, hi, I would like to change your drive fraction. 0.3. I know, we changed it to 0.5. I don't know if having a big change like that will make a difference. Okay, so you can see our altitude's dropping. It looks like it's probably going to stabilize a little bit lower. And that should suit us fine. Now, while that stabilizes, let's start thinking about shields. Maybe even put some shrouds on the propellers just to protect a little bit. So I would like... Miscellaneous. Shield projector. And then straight up, one on the front. I want you on reflect. I want you to be a strength of 3. Maybe even 4 because you are the main shield. Range, that's fine. Is it? I can't even see it. There we go. And then I'd like you to have an elevation of 45. Make the height. Oh, God, that should be 0. Right, so width, I would like it to be 10. Height, say 15. And that'll going to be effectively our main shield. Should work pretty well at protecting the front of the ship. I might even tell it to be 20 high. We can afford it. Yeah, let's go for a width of 15. Okay, that's going to take some of our power. Quite a lot of our power, but we have got a lot more to spare. Next. You. So let's go for reflect. Let's go for strength of 3. Default the height. Then we want elevation. We want to knock a bit off the elevation. Not a lot. Bring it down to like minus 30. Increase that. Maybe decrease the height a little bit. Increase the width. And that should give us a reasonable amount of protection there. I might increase the range a little bit as well, though. There we go. And that should gel well with that front shield. I might just have a little play with the azimuth, just to make sure it snakes in and is, yeah, plays well there. So it does protect the propeller a little bit. Then let's copy to clipboard. Paste from clipboard. Now, I believe that might be, yeah, that's the wrong way for the azimuth, so we just want to flip that. Boop. And there we go. And that should give us a bit of defense on that that turret. Now, this isn't a foolproof plan, but it should be certainly at least reasonable. Now, we are using quite a lot of our engine right now, so I will, of course, tell these shields to turn off. I could also go through and I could color each of them individually. The reason I'm not going to do that is because I am lazy. Also because I need to, like, remove blocks to be able to get the color blocks in. Because I put one here, but I want 2. And I have to put one in the way of the blades, and down here I have to put one up. Yeah, I could do it, but I'm just lazy. I'll be honest. And now that they're not on all the time, it is a bit of a better plan than it used to be. Sweet. Now, to make this thing faster, because I'm gonna do it, it's me. It needs to be able to keep up with my frigates. Let us find the center of mass, which is here. Run to the back, which is here. Hello, my pretties. That works rather well for me. And then we can think about putting engine, air, jet engine, huge jet engine. And there we go. Speed's much higher now. Problem is we are tilting up quite a lot. Let's see about altering that. Air engine, jet engine. That looks fine. Yeah, actually putting it one up. Okay. So yeah, we'll do that. Now, I'm going to quickly just remove this because I'm going to make it look pretty. There we go. Now, of course, we could put more on. Not gonna. Quite happy with this. This is our Atlas retrofit. along with silly sails things. How does it turn? Let's find out. Pretty good. Pretty good, actually. Okay, so I think the power issue is responsible for our flipping, because as soon as we drop our shields, we're back to normal again. So we need to find a way to drop our power usage a little bit. Or come up with another, you know, 100 power or so. I'm trying to think if we can do that. Why not a tiny little engine in the front? Like a really diddy one, like a backup engine. We've only got size for our not quite efficient engine here. You know what, let's build a custom engine. So this custom engine is literally going to be made for efficiency. So yeah, actually let's build it on the ground. Crankshaft. Cylinder. Cylinder. Carburetor. 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 Turbocharger. Let's get rid of these. That's connected. That's connected. That's connected. That's connected. Right, so we have 4 and 3. So this engine should be pretty efficient. 1.4. And how much energy is it providing? 400. Yeah, that's pretty good. And so under load, we should now have plenty of power. Let's spawn in a sledge. Just one sledge, because I want to see how it acts against the sledge. Really? All the way over there? Fine. Oh, I need to definitely unhook, because I'm currently going backwards and forwards. And let's spawn in a second sledge, because by the time we get there, we'll probably have killed it. Right, sledges are still in front of us. Right, here we go. Now they're firing their missiles. Our anti-missile defenses have fired. That's good. Now I do want to try and get alongside and see how they cope with being alongside. Oh, you can see that our side missiles actually really did a lot better job there of homing. Yeah, a lot better job of homing there. Watch the side missiles as they come out next time. Well, that time no, because they were targeting a really dodgy enemy. Right, here we go, here we go. That was a much tighter turn than they've done before, put it that way. Destroy enemy vehicles, and then we'll spawn in another 3 sledges. Fairly close, excellent. So we'll see how they fire from the side. Yeah, that looked a lot more competent that time. Okay, more missiles firing. They're targeting the wrong missiles, unfortunately. Which I guess is just a fact of life. But luckily, their missiles aren't particularly good at targeting us, so they have missed us a number of times. Our erratic course has got to help. Oh, here we go. Yeah, they are missing us quite a lot. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to call this a success. It's not great at targeting these guys right now, because its main missiles are not actually being, you know, fired at an enemy. They haven't got the lure code. What I'll do is I'll put the lure code in for them when we spawn in, because we'll be spawning it in next to some frigates, and I'll just grab the frigate code while we're there. But for now, I'm actually fairly pleased with this retrofit. 230 power. Okay. That's tolerable. I like it. I think it's pretty good. Bam. I am pleased. I'm EnterElysium. If you enjoyed, please like, not subscribe, please consider subscribing. This has been an entire building episode. I thought it was just gonna be simple, and then I happened. Isn't that so much the way? I mean, what do people think of it? I like it. I mean, do people actually want this in the workshop? Because this is just a retrofit of a retrofit. And to be honest, I think part of the fun of retrofitting a retrofit is seeing what you come up with yourself. But if you want to, you know, have it up in the workshop, you know, I can. That said, I still am looking for feedback if people want the fortress and the cargo hydrofoil up on the workshop. Pretty simple, not particularly fancy. But if you want them up on the workshop, I can put them up. Right. I am pleased with the results. I've been EnterElysium. Till next time, stay shiny.